my dirty little dumplings, and welcome back to Brian Abroad. It's that special time of year again where joy is in the air and everything feels just a little merrier and brighter. God, no, not that time of year. I'm talking about Halloween. The last video that I did from my old apartment was actually me decorating for Halloween, in May. Which I don't regret at all, because to be honest, I'm kind of one of those people who thinks that Halloween is kind of like a lifestyle, not just a holiday. I know, I'm weird. Halloween time is my absolute favorite time to be back home in America. Here in China though, there's not really a whole lot of Halloween happenings. No one really gets dressed up as Han Solo to go apple picking or pumpkin picking. I've yet to encounter any haunted houses, although I have heard that maybe there are some. Basically, the most Halloween thing that I can do is make my apartment look like a closing Spirit Halloween. Like November 2nd Spirit Halloween, like when everything is kind of like shutting down and there's nothing left on the shelves. If you did see my last video, then you know that I was able to find a pretty good amount of stuff here in China to decorate with, and I bought it all and put it in my house. In today's video, I'm gonna be decorating my new apartment for Halloween. And I figured that while I'm decorating, I'm gonna tell you guys some stories about my experiences as a haunter, or scare actor, or haunted house actor. Even though you can't tell right now because I tried to make it look somewhat nice before I started filming, there is probably 500 tons of Halloween all over the place. So let's get started. Honestly, the thing that I'm looking forward to the most with decorating this year is covering up all this crap on the wall. And I'll be using these to cover that up. All right, Mama, you can go here. Is it straight? Does it matter? Now I can see that this is definitely not even in the same zip code. If I wanted it to look scary, I probably should have just left all the dirt on the wall. Huh. There's just too many girls in this family, so we need to give them at least one guy. Representation matters. Okay, much better, I think. Now we have the bride, we have the husband, the mother of the bride, and then over here we have like the side chick for the husband. The whole happy family is here, which means I'm gonna have to find a different place for Takitino over here. There's a chance that this is gonna turn into like that old YouTube video with the girl singing and she falls off the table, but here goes. You know, it might help if I take the old curtain rod down first. The rod is kind of like just barely fitting in place, so there's a good chance that it's gonna fall and kill me someday when I'm going to hang laundry. But for now, I mean, they're a little bit short, but I think it looks pretty fun. And yes, I did actually buy orange curtains for my apartment specifically for Halloween. Can you see the spooky bats? Oh, I love it. Do I though? Oh my god, I'm literally sweating because I just had to fight with this like tension rod. But basically I found a better way to hang them where they're not so high off the ground. And I think it looks a lot better, even though it literally just took like a whole year off my life. Uh-oh, excessively long tablecloth alert. I love it. Everything is just like a tad too long, so like there is kind of a chance that someone might trip and die on this, but like it's gonna look really cool up until the part where you die. So like I'm okay with it. This probably looks super janky, but I kind of like the way that the reflection looks on the wall, and I think at night when the lights are off it will look pretty cool. I already know this is a mistake. What happened? This looks worse than when you take it off the bushes at the end of the season. I've never used this TV the whole time I've lived here, and I probably won't. So, just gonna drape some spiderweb over it. Can I just like leave it like that and call it a night? I'm so stupid that I just leaned forward and the candle was there and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna get burned. No, Brian, you're not, because it's plastic. To be honest, I think that's all I'm gonna do because I'm gonna try like a less is more approach instead of covering my whole house with spiderweb like I did last time. It just takes way too long. Okay, so this part's gonna be a little tricky. I bought a giant Halloween tapestry to cover up this horrible light sticker motif on the wall. It came with all these things that you're supposed to hammer into the walls, but I don't think I can actually do that here. So I'm gonna try to blue tack this to the wall. Also another situation where I might kill myself. That sounded lovely. Ah! Oh no, it's gonna catch on fire! This will probably 100% fall off the wall before I'm finished, but Yes. Alright, let's try this a different way. Okay, so, I mean, it's there. Will it fall off the wall like it did last time? Probably, except this time what it will probably do is rip the hook off the wall and then take a square-sized chunk of paint out as well. But for now, it's there. And we'll see if it's still there later. Alright, well, I said I was going to talk about haunting, so let's talk about haunting. When I used to tell people that I was a haunter, that's kind of like what we call a haunted house actor. A lot of people are like, wow, that must be like the funnest job in the world. Like, you get paid to scare people. Like, that's awesome. And it is awesome, but it's also a lot of work. It's not just like, wow, I love Halloween, so I showed up and I jump out and boom, and then like, where's my paycheck? A lot of us have to get there extremely early to do our makeup. I was one of the people that spent an hour or more on trying really hard to make me disappear into whatever character I was playing. I'm the kind of person that if I make a costume, I don't want any part of me to be visible. Like, the hands are covered, my shoes are covered, I'm wearing 10 tons of makeup and prosthetics, I have a wig on. I don't want it to be like, oh look, there's Brian. Like, that's super awkward. So, you know, I was always there super early, covering myself with latex, which, like, I mean, sounds like a good time probably, but never is my skin as horrible as during the month of October. Between shaving, which I never do, and gluing all kinds of things to my face, and grease paint and Prozaid, your skin is just like, you're not gonna get a date that month, let's just put it that way. The other thing is that on a busy night, you're gonna be there till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning easily. I was also working outside, so if it's cold out, if it's raining out, if it's snowing out, whatever the situation is, it's not all fun and games for sure.
I don't have anything funny to say, Bruce. It's late, I'm dressed like a clown. I'm sweaty, I'm bloody. I smell like swass.
Swass?
Sweaty ass, yeah, swass. I'm a sweat disaster.
And no one's doing it for the money. No one that is a haunt actor is like, woo, I'm rich. Usually it's minimum wage and a couple days in the month. No one's making money off of that, especially not me, who was spending way, way, way more money than I was making on makeup and teeth and contact lenses. You're not gonna get rich from haunting. Plus, you really need to be careful of the customers. People react in really interesting ways when they're scared. Some people hit you, not because they mean to, although sometimes they do. You know, it's just a normal reaction. Someone gets scared by something and they kind of like lash out at you. People pass out. People pee themselves. And my first year, I had all of these things happen to me. If you watched my last Halloween video, I was talking about Spooky World. In the 90s, Spooky World was probably the most famous haunted house in the whole country. Haunted attraction, I should say. We had a hayride. We had all kinds of different haunts. We had all kinds of different celebrities who would come and sign autographs. And we had performers coming to sing. By the time I started to work there, though, it was very different from what it was like when I grew up going there as a kid. This one is in really terrible shape. I don't know if he's gonna make it through the season. Same little ghost, same. By the time I was old enough to work for Spooky World, the original owners had sold the name and whatever was left of their stock, basically. From there, it kind of had a little bit of a troubled past where it was bouncing around from place to place. There was one year where there was no Spooky World, and then there was a year that it was in Boston indoors in a warehouse where it had never really been before. It had always been outside. And that's when I started to work there. And honestly, I didn't really care that it wasn't like Spooky World like it used to be. I was just so excited to be able to work for a haunt that I was like, you can do anything to me. You can put me anywhere. I will be any character. I will do anything. What I didn't know is that they would take that seriously, because most people, when you're working in the haunts, you have kind of like a set role that you play. Like, this is your area, this is your scare. And every day you get in, you get into makeup and you go to your spot, and that's the spot that you're in for the whole night. I didn't really have like a home haunt. There were 4 or 5 different haunted houses there that year. There was like an alien experiment. There was like a zombie one. There was kind of like this old creepy mansion. There was a vampire one. I started off as a zombie. I was blue. I don't know why I was blue. It was a bold choice from the makeup artist, who I think really just didn't care. And so she made us blue, and we were wearing that like Walmart zombie costume where like it has weird curly hair and like ripped up pieces of clothing. By the way, if you guys want to know know how old I am, any pictures of me haunting my first couple years I had to go onto MySpace to get, so there you go. So anyway, I was a zombie and I was like in a fenced in room and I would bang on the fence and, you know, moan. Kind of lame because I couldn't really get close to anyone or actually do anything other than be like, oh, I'm a zombie. I wasn't really that bad, that was a joke. Then they were like, we need someone in the vampire house, so would you mind covering the vampire house? Truthfully, yes, because vampires, like, they don't do it for me, and I think that was also like the era of Twilight, so I was like, oh, so they put me in the vampire house, and like, I didn't really know what to do with myself as a vampire. Like, what do you do as a vampire? Like, I think I did a lot of that, and I think I did a lot of just like jumping out at people. I was also in a really weird spot, like behind a wall, so no one even saw me. That was also the vampire that I showed in my other video where I had 2 sets of eyebrows. Again, another bold choice from the makeup artist. I mean, I did well, apparently, because the manager saw me and she's like, that was awesome, but I felt like, get me out. The next weekend, they're like, we need someone in Jekyll's mansion. There's not enough people there, and they need someone there. So I was a zombie in there, in like the zombie room, and I was hiding behind a wall. This is like a recurring theme with me. There was like a little peephole in my wall so I could watch people come in, and then I'd jump out from behind the wall and scare people. It was like Lysol. Like, it worked like 99.9% of the time. But like I said, a lot of those weird things about being a haunter started to happen to me. Me and the other guy that worked in that room, it was both of our first years haunting. And there were these 2 girls walking through the haunt. When I jumped out to scare the girl, she just passed out right on the floor. And I was like, oh my god, I just killed someone. The other guy came out from his hiding spot and we're looking at each other like, oh my god, and then we're looking down. That's when she comes to, when we're both standing over her looking down. Probably not the best thing for her to wake up to. So she starts to freak out and like pass out all over again. Her friend is trying to drag her out of there. It was like a whole scene. It's funny now, but it was a little bit scary at the time because we thought we killed someone. Then there was another time where, you know, I did my little thing. I'm looking through my peephole like a creeper, and this group of guys is coming through. I jump out to scare them, and the guy just has that knee-jerk reaction to kind of push the scary thing away, and he whacked me so hard in the nose that I saw stars. I did the like unscariest thing that I could possibly do. It was like whack-a-mole. I kind of recoiled behind my little hiding spot because I was like, oh my god, I think my nose is broken. I mean, the guy was really nice. He actually like peeked behind the wall and was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And I just was like, just go away. And then I had to like take my mask off and see if I was bleeding, which I wasn't. So continued on from there. The year after that, Spooky World actually moved inside of an amusement park. We thought that was gonna be so cool, like the rides would be open, all of the haunted houses were gonna be set up in this building together, but the people who ran that amusement park didn't really know like what to do with the haunters. Like when we came in for orientation and kind of like to get a lay of the land, the people who ran the park legitimately thought that we were carnies. At one point they were like, this is the place where you can park your trailers. Dude, we're not carnies, like we don't drive a trailer. We drive to the park like everybody else who works here, and then at the end of the night we go home. And then also they were like, no blood, and don't do this, and don't do that. And it was like, do you want us here or not? It was kind of weird. But the following year we actually left, and Spooky World was back outside again. So it was my first time actually being able to haunt outside, and I wasn't in the houses anymore. I was what you call a walk-around character. So basically, when you're a walk-around character, you're like Scary Mickey Mouse at Disney World. You can kind of like go wherever you want, show up anywhere. When people are waiting in lines, you're walking through the lines to kind of entertain them and scare them while they're waiting. You can follow them into the haunted houses if you want. You can walk all through the haunts with them. You can follow them to their car. You can go into their car. Okay, technically maybe you're not supposed to do that, but I did. But basically you had free reign of the whole park. In order to kind of be a walk-around character, you need to be good at haunting, and you also need to be good at making your own characters. If you're wearing the Walmart zombie costume, no. Actually, my very first year, because I had done so well in all of the different houses that I was working in, the managers offered me the opportunity to be a walk-around character, and I told them no. I had learned in my first few weeks of haunting that to be a walk-around character and be able to go wherever you want, it's people who really kind of paid their dues and showed that they're really good at something, and I saw those people getting ready when when the makeup artist was turning me blue, and those people were really going all out for their characters. They wanted me to put on a store-bought costume from the rack and walk around the midway with all the other walk-around characters, and I just felt like it wasn't my time yet. And then I actually spent a whole nother year in the haunts, still kind of like getting a feel for everything and kind of like honing my skills. It probably kind of sounds silly to like talk about scaring people as like a craft, but it really is kind of like a skill. There's a lot of people who are like, yeah, haunting, I'm the best, I'm so cool, metal! And then they get into the haunt and they're just like, ah! Getting screamed at is not scary. Like, I could have done that at my own house. There are people who literally jump out and are like, boo! Honey, the first rule of Fight Club is you never actually say boo. By my third year, I was a walk-around character. I was doing crazy stuff. I was doing crazy makeup. At that point, I had learned how to do prosthetics and how to make props and do all this other stuff. When you're in the haunted houses, your interaction with the customer is very brief. They come into your area, you scare them, and they leave your area. But when you're a walk-around character, that's when sometimes you're someone's worst nightmare that just won't go away. And there's people who are afraid of you and you're in the line with them and they're on the ground crying. They get up to the door of the haunt and it's time for their group to go in. And they're like, ah, you can't follow me. And then you can. And I do. And they're like, no, what are you doing here? I love that. So I was following people everywhere. Not home, because that's weird, but like everywhere else. And because the interactions are a lot longer that you have with people, I think that's when you start to like really see the different ways that people react to fear. Because as you're approaching the line, you can find the 6'4" guy who thinks he's all tough until he sees the clown coming at him, and then he's like, oh no man, I don't play with no clowns. And then you target that person and you make them hate you. And that's probably also the first time that I saw someone pee themselves. It wasn't exactly like I was looking for it. Unfortunately, she was wearing an all gray sweatsuit. She was with her horribly embarrassed teenage children who are like, oh mom, you do this every year. And like I said, she was wearing her unfortunate gray sweatsuit. And as soon as the first walk-around character came up to her, she cut loose. And you could see it. It's kind of like when there's blood in the water and there's sharks around. Like, as soon as one walk-around character knows that there's like some horribly afraid person, then they're gonna tell every other walk-around actor that they pass on the way, like, hey, there's this lady over here, come on. So, you know, we all go over there and we're all saying her name. I feel like her name was Diane, but I don't know if that's correct. And everyone's like, Diane! And she's just screaming and peeing and running. She's running and screaming and peeing all at the same time. It was actually kind of amazing. While her teenage children were literally just like, I mean, I think they had a great time. But being a walk-around was great. I used to do some crazy stuff. Like, I like to be a zombie character. I've done all kinds of different zombies and zombie clowns and zombie everything. I would just lay on one of the paths and I'd like cover myself with dirt and leaves and wait for people to walk by. And then I'd come up from all the leaves and dirt and freak people out. I'd crawl all over the ground on my hands and knees and like reaching out for people. And then I'd go home and my knees would be all like cut up and bruised and black and blue because I was too stupid to wear knee pads under my costumes. But super fun, super good memories of haunting. And also memories of it being like 2 a.m. and me being in the shower with a bottle of Dawn dish soap trying to wash grease paint off my face because I had work the next morning. Also, when you work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until like 1 o'clock in the morning scaring people, it's probably not a good idea to take an 8 a.m. Sunday morning biology lecture with lab. Don't do that. You're not gonna feel good when you're sitting in the room dissecting a pig on 2 hours of sleep when you still have grease paint and Prozac stuck to your head. It's been a couple years since I've really been able to do it because I've been in China. The haunt that I worked at most recently, they would have events in February for Valentine's Day, and they have a Christmas event which is super popular. So if I ever happened to just kind of be home at that time, I would guarantee that I was there. I think last year I actually did their Valentine's Day event. I mean, if I was in America right now, I'd still be doing it, of course. By the end of the season though, your body is just like, it hates you. You're tired, you're bruised, you haven't been sleeping for a whole month. You're living off of Monster energy drinks, Halloween candy, and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and like 2 a.m. Denny's or McDonald's runs. It's not cute. I think that looks good. Hello?
Who is this?
You
hang up on me and I'll cut through your neck until I feel bone.
It's for you. To be honest, this building has the real ones, so I probably didn't need to go out and spend money on rubber ones. I probably could have just like wrangled some and maybe like stuck them to the wall, although I think that like when visitors come over, it's less acceptable to have actual roaches like stuck to your wall, so I figured this was a better alternative. I feel like a red kitchen is just screaming for blood, you know? Because of haunting, I also got to do a couple of cool things. I did a commercial for a local food show called The Phantom Gourmet where I was dressed as a zombie. Their theme was food to undie for, and it was like food that's so good that even zombies would rather eat that than eat brains. I have a pretty cool picture with Elvira too, and when we took the picture together she said, "Good luck with the baby." Back over here, I decided this needs a little bit of blood too. Do you guys have a favorite horror movie? If you did watch the other video, then you did see that I have like 17 Halloween t-shirts that I kept flipping through. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Halloween. Resurrection never happened though, so we don't talk about that one. Busta Rhymes, Kung Fu. Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. The new one comes out in 2 days, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it somewhere, but I'm gonna try. Let's go to the bathroom. Let's decorate the bathroom. The last ones were so small, these ones look gigantic. Oh, never mind. My foot is like twice the size of it. Fun! Clearly my idea of fun is not quite the same as everyone else's, but I think it's great. I have my boo towel here. I don't know if you can see this. And of course I have to go for the bloody handprint on the mirror. It's a classic. It doesn't make any sense. Did you cut yourself shaving? Why are you bleeding so much and then your first thought was to come touch the mirror? I don't really know, but it's something that I do every year. It's almost like a tradition at this point. If it's not broke. Oh, but I think it is broke. Oh no, it's fine. All right, and maybe just like one little like zhuzh of blood. I'm gonna try to use tape to cover up this horrible tile woman because I've been desperate to cover her up since I moved, and now is the perfect opportunity for me to do that. Come on, Scotch tape, don't let me down. Please stay. I'd rather look at your decrepit zombie face than this tile lady one more day. Last time I put like bloody handprints all over the place, but then it's like you're trying to see yourself in the mirror and you're like, no. All right, maybe just like one more bloody handprint. That reminds me, I have another mirror that I can put bloody handprints on. No mirror is safe from my bloody handprint stickers. Yeah. Okay, at this point, it's about midnight and I've been decorating for about 5 hours now. So I think I'm gonna call it a night. I do have a few more things that I want to do, but they're gonna have to wait till tomorrow because I have a field trip with my kids tomorrow and I definitely can't be half asleep for that. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, so it's the next day and the Halloween t-shirts are back. I'm gonna move on to the bathroom, which is really small. Basically, I'm just gonna be hanging up the shower curtain that I found online and maybe putting some more bloody handprints somewhere. That one came off like butter. Oh, except now it's stuck like glue. Okay. If you are thinking about doing any type of haunted house acting in the future, even if it's your first year and they just put you in a store-bought costume and throw you in a random spot inside of one of the houses, give your character a backstory. Who are you? Or who were you? Why are you in this place? What do you want from the people that are coming in and out each night? It probably sounds kind of silly if you're a zombie or something to be like, what's my motivation? But it will help you to figure out who your character is and what are the things that your character would do or not do, or what they would say or what sounds they would make. It's also good for you to think about the kind of scare that you'd be doing. Are you going to do some type of pop-up scare where you're hiding behind something and you jump out at someone at just the right time? Are you going to pretend to be a prop and then when people get close to you, you jump out? My whole second year of haunting, I was in a hallway full of dummies. I mean, especially because I was there, and we were all wearing the same thing. And I stood against the wall in the same position as all the other dummies. And when the time was right, I would jump out and scare people. My favorite memory of that was one year when it was super busy. There was no break between groups. What I would do is I would jump out and scare someone, and then I would wait until enough people had passed until I felt like that person maybe hadn't seen me, and I would jump out at the next group. So I jumped out and I scared the first group, but by the time that first group had made it all the way down this hallway and into the next part of the haunt, I had probably scared like 3 or 4 other groups, and each time that I scared another group, someone from the first group would be like, there's group number 2. Oh, he got group number 3 every time they heard a new scream. And then before they turned the corner to go into the next part of the haunt, they were like, you need a raise. Can I tell you what's not scary though? What's not scary is this. There are so many haunts that I've been to, the actors inside the haunt, their whole character is just... And unless you're like the most terrifying person in the whole entire world, you looking at me is like, oh, is there something in my teeth? That doesn't scare me. What are you looking at? Do you have a question? Do you need to borrow some money? Did I do that embarrassing thing where I tuck my skirt into my underwear? Like, what happened exactly? Especially with like creepy little girl characters. If you like creepy little girls or if they scare you, if you play a creepy little girl character, like that is fine. Like, do your thing. But I have encountered so many creepy little girl characters who are just like, you're a little girl, like, just kick it. It's not scary, like, you need to do something. I just realized I can't see anything. Well, I'm gonna do that thing that I said I wasn't gonna do. My other advice to you, especially if you're planning to be a walk around, is that if you buy anything from the store, like a Halloween store, make sure you do something to it and you don't just buy it and put it on your body from the rack. The way that you can be the scariest you can be is if people can't connect you to something else. They can't recognize you. They almost can't recognize the human element of you. If you just go to the store and you buy something for $29.99 and people recognize that, then it's like, oh, that monster went to Spirit Halloween and spent $30. Like, there's nothing scary about that. All kinds of people come to the haunted house. A lot of weird stuff can happen. I had people grab my butt. I've had people try to take things off of me before, like my clown nose, for example. I've had people threaten to hit me or beat me up, like, hey man, you're scaring my girl. Yeah, I know. You have a VIP bracelet on, you spent $60 for this and you don't want to get scared? Alright you guys, so I finally finished my spider web and after a few finishing touches, I think I'm done. So, here's the finished product. So yeah, that's my Halloween house. I'm pretty happy with how everything came out, especially because I didn't really have a very clear plan before I started. I mostly just bought a bunch of stuff and kind of hoped for the best. Back when I lived in America, I kind of always kept my bedroom like a Halloween room, and it was basically Halloween 365 days a year. And I'm already kind of looking around at things here that I might want to keep out all year round. Also, I just took a break from shooting this video for 2 hours so I could watch Halloween Kills, and now it's like 2 in the morning, and I don't even know if anything that I'm saying is making any sense at all. So on that note, that's all for today's video. If you like this video and you'd like to see more videos here on this channel, click that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell so that you get notified when I upload a new video here on this channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy Halloween. Bye-bye.